What? Okay, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so guys, listen to me, man. I, I really, guys, throughout this entire movie, I've tried so hard to give this a chance. I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. I really tried, okay? I really did. I'm about to tell you how this movie ends. I'm about to tell you how this movie ends. And honest to goodness, I cannot believe it. I do not believe that's how they ended this movie. Okay, I cannot believe this is how they ended the movie. Ah, what? What happened? Like, okay, all right. So foregoing the. Oh my goodness, guys, the way this movie, full spoilers. Okay, you will not believe this. Can't you won't believe this. Okay, here's how the movie ends, right? Okay. It hurts. It hurts actually to talk about this. Okay, so you guys know at the end of the original movie, Pinocchio is presumed dead. In fact, he is dead. By all accounts, he died, saving his father's life from Monstro. It ends with him lying in bed, and Geppetto is mourning him, and the Blue Fairy, by her magic, turns him into a real boy. It's this awesome, cathartic, great experience that to end the movie on. And also, Jiminy, he gets his official conscience medal. It's great. I love it. I love it every time. I cry every time. You want to know how this movie ends? So they flip the script, right? They flip the script. So this time, instead of thinking that Pinocchio's dead, we think that Geppetto's dead, right? We think Geppetto's dead, which I get it, okay? We want to be able to empathize with the real human character, but if they would have made Pinocchio likable enough by seeing him grow, seeing him have this character arc throughout the film, you could do the same ending, would still have the same emotional effect. But here's the thing. Okay, so Geppetto is lying there dead, right? He's like, Father, please don't die. Please don't die. And you know what? My father recently just died. So if you want to pull up my heartstrings, it's really not that hard to do. I've cried for less since my father died. This should do it. I told you in the middle of this video that Geppetto, the animated character, bears a striking resemblance to my adoptive father. This should make me be crying. It really should. It really should. Pinocchio, you know what he does after a few seconds saying, Father, don't die. Father, don't die. Please don't leave me. He starts to sing When You Wish Upon a Star. Which, okay, like, I see there's a scenario where that could work thematically and emotionally. There's a way to make it work, but it doesn't. It doesn't land. It doesn't land. It doesn't. He doesn't really sing it. He mumbles it out like he's struggling to sing it. But basically what we confer from that is that he wishes that his father would be alive and well, and a tear drops from his eyes and falls on Geppetto. And we've seen that in other movies. Like, this is it's not this is not the offensive part. We're not to the offensive part of the movie. Okay? So Geppetto wakes up and they have this, oh yeah, I'm fine, and then Geppetto says something. He said, I saw you motor across that water. No real boy could do that. And then he backpedals. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, Pinocchio, if I ever made you feel like you were supposed to be someone else. This is obviously referring to the fact that we never actually hear Geppetto wish that Pinocchio would become a real boy. We don't know. We infer that a little bit, but that's not actually what I think he wished for. Now, this is conjecture. I think that the film is trying to make this point that he actually wished for his real son, the one that died, to come back to life. I think that's what he actually wanted. And what's interesting is that when he wishes that, and right before the blue fairy appears from the wishing star, there's this beam of light that hits the picture of his dead son, and then it ricochets off the picture of his dead son to Pinocchio, and Pinocchio comes to life. I don't really like that decision because while we infer that the blue fairy's magic is what brought Pinocchio to life, in the original film, the blue fairy shows up and basically says to Geppetto while he's sleeping that I'm going to grant your wish, and then she brings him to life directly. The wave of the wand. They don't do that in this movie. Not a huge deal. I didn't like it, but not a big deal. Anyway, Geppetto says, I'm sorry if I ever made you feel like I wanted you to be somebody else. Okay? Obviously referring to his dead son, which they never explicitly say, but you infer it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then they make it seem like it was wrong for Geppetto to want for Pinocchio to be a real boy. Okay? And I'm like, okay, I get the message there. I kind of understand where they're going there. But, Geppetto apparently never explains to Pinocchio that, his son died. At least not in the film. We don't see that. And I get that. That's fine. But then the worst possible thing happens. So, okay, they're trying to find a way to get out. And he says, and Pinocchio's like, let's follow the light. I'm like, okay, the movie's obviously wrapping up. But, he hasn't turned into a real boy yet. So, but then we start hearing a narration from Jiminy, and it's clearly the end of the film. And I'm like, wait, hold up. You're gonna end the film on this note? Pinocchio's not real. Pinocchio, that's the whole point of the story. The Pinocchio becomes a real boy. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, lots of myths and legends have been made up about Pinocchio. Some say that he turned into a bona fide real boy. Okay? And they see Geppetto and Pinocchio walking off into the light, slow motion style. And they said, and then Jiminy says, whatever's true, Pinocchio was a real boy in his heart, just like any other, and that's as good as being any other real boy. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically what he says. And we kind of see Pinocchio, as he's walking into the light, turn into a real boy, but his face is turned. You can't really see it. I'm guessing the reason they did this because they didn't want to find an actor that looked like Pinocchio, which would have been impossible. They stayed very true to the original design, which would have been possible. Which, by the way, you didn't have to do it that way. Again, there's another Pinocchio film called The Adventures of Pinocchio. At least I think that's what I remember it being called, starring Jonathan Taylor Thomas. And the puppet actually kind of looks like a puppet like version of him, and he turns into a real boy. You can kind of see the characteristics carry over, which, by the way, is a superior film to this one. I don't know how many people know about that film. It's actually not that bad. I actually really like it a lot. I like it better than this one, for sure. But I can only imagine the only reason they would end it this way. The only reason I think they would end it this way is to virtue signal a particular message. Okay, so I told you at the beginning of this video, one of the reasons, there's a lot of reasons why we are not going to continue with our Disney Plus account, mostly because we're not really watching it. There's not enough good content to watch it. Also, all this stuff about them pushing the woke agenda and all this stuff, it's been very, very difficult to want to financially support them. I'm not saying that everybody should make the decision to cancel the Disney Plus account over that, but that seems to be the direction that we want to go into as a family. But here's the thing. The only reason I could think that they wouldn't end the movie the way the movie's supposed to end, the way the story is supposed to be told, Pinocchio is rewarded and becomes a real boy. And they leave it up to interpretation whether or not you believe he turned into a real boy or not. And they say that whether or not he really turned into a real boy, the fact of the matter is, in his heart, he believes that he's a real boy. And that makes him a boy. So the only reason I could think that Disney would want to end their movie this way is to virtue signal to transgenderism. That's the only reason I could think that they would do this. Every Pinocchio media that I've seen, he turns into a real boy at the end, and there's no question about it. That's how it ends. That's how it ends. That's how it's supposed to end. And it's so sad because I'm like, not only is the ending weak for the movie, the ending is weak, they have to make it even worse by not sticking to the original. And that's the thing is, like, look, this made me sick, man. This made me sick. This movie's terrible. This movie is awful. It's not only bad. It went from being meh to bad because of how it ends. And I'm not, and even if that's not what they were going for, it wasn't the virtue signal thing. Even if it wasn't that, maybe that wasn't the reason. Maybe that wasn't the reason they did it. It still fails because the whole arc of Pinocchio's character is to become a real boy. Like, so why wouldn't you just give him that? Why do you have to leave it up to interpretation? And the only logical explanation I can think of, based on the context of who the Disney company is and all the stuff that they're doing and all this stuff, is to virtue signal the transgenderism agenda. Like, that's the only way I can think to do that they did it. That's the only reason I could think that they would do it that way. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyway, let's go back over the movie. The movie's not good. I should not have watched it. And it took more, because I was doing this reaction, it took more time to watch it than it would have if I just watched it all the way through. But I don't even know if I'm going to release this video, but like, it's just, man, this hurt. You know, I'm never going to watch it again. I'm sad. Just go watch the original. But I'm guessing this is why, like, no, I don't know what producer saw this and thought this would be good. This would be good enough. I don't even think it's good enough to be on Disney Plus, to be on streaming. Like, you know, I don't I don't understand who thought, you know what? Maybe they were thinking, you know what, Pinocchio, that movie's really old. And you know what? People probably don't care if the movie's good. Well, you know what? I wanted it to be good. I did. And you know what? This video is unscripted. This is my raw feelings and emotions. I don't think it would have been that hard to make a good Pinocchio movie. Like I said, there's already a good Pinocchio movie out there called The Adventures of Pinocchio, when Jonathan Taylor Thomas is in it. He voiced Simba in The Lion King. It's a good movie. I love it, actually. It's not a masterpiece, but it's good. It's good. It's actually good. But this, it's like they don't like the original movie. This is the thing, like, it almost feels like they don't like the original movie. Like, that's what it feels like. Because, like, I'm like, why would you make these changes? Also, of course we see that Stromboli gets brought to justice, right? He's the one who's keeping this minority woman down, you know, from being an amazing actress and putting on her act and all that. And again, that really didn't bother me all that much. It's like, whatever, like, you know, it's fine. But if you really want to show people getting in trouble, how about you show people getting punished who kidnapped children, turned them into donkeys, and sold them to salt mines? So again, I noted already that the original film has this problem too. We don't see the bad guys getting what they deserve, which, by the way, narratively isn't necessarily a bad thing to do. It's not necessarily a bad thing to do because it shows that, hey, the world is a pretty dark place. Sometimes the bad guys get away with it. Now, as a Christian, I know that nobody gets away with anything. The final judgment, God will sort it out in the end. But sometimes life is like that. Sometimes the bad guys get away with it on this earth. They get away with it. Sometimes that happens. And so showing that consistently throughout Pinocchio in the original film just makes the movie more mature. It makes it darker, which is one of the reasons why it's so memorable, is that film is actually pretty dark. But it has a happy ending. So we let that stuff go. As Don Bluth was famous for saying, I don't know if he actually said this, but he said, little children can get through just about anything as long as you give them a happy ending. And I believe that, actually, because I grew up a lot of these, like, really dark films, like American Tail. Like, that movie is so sad, like, it's so hard to watch. And The Secret of Nim, like, you know, and Pinocchio, like, you know, there's some really scary stuff in that movie, but you give them a happy ending, and we grew and all that stuff, and it's fine. But this movie, it's like, it feels like they actually hate the original. They don't. The songs from the original are barely used, and when they are used, they're only little snippets of them. Except for Got No Strings. That one got the full thing, but that's the most famous song from the movie. So, like, probably. Actually, no, that's not even true. When You Wish Upon a Star is the most famous part of the movie, and they don't even sing that whole song. Oh my goodness. Oh man, guys, I had a stomach ache, and again, it's definitely because of the pizza. But I mean, dude, I, I'm amazed. I cannot believe that this happened. I cannot believe they did this. I'm glad they didn't release it in theaters. It would have bombed, and it looks like it's getting bombed by critics who watch it. It's you know what? I tried, guys. I tried to like this, but man, what do I rate it? Okay, I was gonna rate it a 1 out of 10. I'd give it a 4. Some of the shots, they really tried to capture the look of the original, and I think they did that well. Um, I feel like Tom Hanks, honestly, his acting is like he wasn't even trying, and I get it. He's acting against somebody who's not there. Pinocchio's not really there, so that's a challenge for any actor. But it really felt like he was phoning this in, and it's sad because like he's outside of Pinocchio, the only character we're supposed to really connect with, and I don't feel connected to him. And maybe that's because I got a heart of stone, but like, dude, I'm. It's easy to pull up my heartstrings when you literally remind me of my dad, and you're a sad widower who just wants a son. I'm adopted. That stuff gets me choked up every time. It really wouldn't have been that hard, but this movie failed. It just fails miserably. And you know what? I have half a mind just go and watch the original movie right now. I want so much to remember the goodness of the original film that I might just go and watch it. Don't watch this movie. Don't watch it. It's a waste of your time. It's not good. Just watch the original. I mean, I feel like people know this by now with these remakes, but it's just like, why are you doing it? And you know what? I found out the Little Mermaid trailer where Ariel's black, yet another race-bending character for no reason because people don't believe that black characters. Like, where is my Static Shock movie? Where is that movie? Where is it? There's plenty of other characters, but what I'm saying is, I feel no. Why would anyone go see these movies? Like Disney's not even is clearly not even trying anymore. They haven't been trying for a long time. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're too big. They feel like they're too big to fail, which in some parts is true. I mean, they got us all by the nostalgia. That's the way it works. We grew up with these movies and want to give them a chance, and we do. But the truth is that Disney is losing money. They're not making as gangbusters as they used to when it comes to these new woke products they're putting out. The it's becoming so apparent that the agenda is more important than good storytelling or just cash grabs, which is what this is. It's what this is. And if you're gonna do a grab, at least try to hide it. At least try. But Disney doesn't feel like they need to try. And maybe you know what? I'm the one who watched it. I'm the one who did it to myself. I'm not saying I don't blame them. I did this to myself. I didn't have to watch this movie. Everyone told me, Tyrus, why would you? My wife told me, I thought you were done watching things that upset you. Like, I'm not watching She-Hulk. I know it's gonna be bad. I'm not watching what else? Yeah, after Obi-Wan, that broke me. That broke me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just can't. I'm not planning on watching Andor. I'm not planning. I got into the point in my life where I just want to watch things that are good. You know? I don't feel like because I'm a fan of an IP that I have to watch every single thing of content that they put out. If they put effort and quality into it, I'll watch it. But no, I'm not obligated. And you know what? I did this to give the benefit of the doubt and because Jiminy Cricket is my favorite Disney character. And I regret watching this film. I regret it. I regret it so much. 4 out of 10. God bless you guys. Catch you next time.